Welcome to Babies from Beyond, the podcast that gives all babies a voice, whether they are still in spirit or already earthside. I'm Lauren Dionysius, a former registered NICU nurse turned baby soul communicator, and I'm here to share the wisdom of today's babies to guide you on your motherhood journey. I want to start this episode by saying that I am no expert when it comes to neurodiversity. I have no formal training or experience in caring for neurodiverse children from a clinical or medical perspective. So everything I'm about to say today has come directly from interacting with the souls of these kids as well as their parents. So I invite you to listen to this episode with a curious mind and also an open heart. Lean into what may resonate with you and just dismiss or discard anything that doesn't. I'm just coming on here today to share what I have observed over recent years, which has helped me to understand these children better and also to help parents understand their children better. So about 5 years ago, I started to have women contact me with questions about their neurodiverse children. Most were on the spectrum. Many had multiple diagnoses. They were telling me that nothing is working, they don't know what to do with them, they don't know how to support their children, and also feeling so bad and guilty around this as well, and frustrated that they weren't able to get the support that they needed. So for many of these women, having a session with me was a last resort. They weren't able to find the answers to the questions they had anywhere else, and so they came to me hoping to connect with the soul of their children. My process for working with the souls of neurodiverse children is exactly the same as every other soul, every other session that I do. But I have noticed some themes and some differences with these children, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. But I also note that every child is different and nothing can be assumed about their purpose or their energy or their journey. So for me, the only way to find out about these things is to ask them directly. And while I don't want to generalize or further label these kids, I've absolutely noticed some common themes between them. And this is what I want to share with you today. So let's dive in. The first thing I want to talk about in relation to neurodiverse children is their energy, their soul's energy. So when I tune into their soul on the energetic or the psychic level, they feel very different. They are stronger, more vibrant, often more intense, and also generally their energy just feels bigger than the average baby soul. And what I've come to realize is when you have this type of intensity as a soul, and you try to fit that into a little human body, it can be a challenge, right? It can be busy, it can be restless. And these children, they don't know how to hold their own energy. Or sometimes they go the opposite way and they disconnect from the world around them. They begin to shut down and become less intense in many ways on the human level. And sometimes it's a combination of both. And in my experience, it's because they bring a lot of their soul's energy with them to the earth. So the way I've come to understand this is that as souls having a human experience, we bring our soul with us essentially, but it's only ever a small part of that. Again, because the soul is such a vast, infinite energy, if we brought all of that energy with us to the earth and tried to stuff it in our human bodies, the sense I get is that we would spontaneously combust in some way. And so somehow, and I'm still trying to understand this, us as humans decide, or perhaps our soul decides, how much of that energy from spirit is going to be connected to the human body on the earth. And for some reason, with neurodiverse children, they've chosen to bring a lot of that energy with them. And then from there, as I've just been talking about, how that manifests in their life, in their behavior, in their emotions, in their nervous system, depends on the child, their energy, their environment, their purpose, their reasons for coming, all of these things. So it is a big difference, though, that I've noticed. And also that with this energy, I'm also learning and have realized that the earth or the world is not quite ready for that intensity, not quite ready for that level of colorful energy, that high vibrational energy. And that's something really important to remember or acknowledge as well, is that these kids have an incredibly high energetic frequency or vibration. I've never worked with a neurodiverse child who has a heavy soul energy that feels like it's being weighed down. It's very buoyant, it's very colorful, it's a very high vibration. There's a lot of light and in their energy fields, and they bring an enthusiasm and an excitement about their journey to Earth. So that's just a little bit about their energy. And now the second thing I want to talk about is their communication. So children on the spectrum or with other diagnoses is that they are excellent multidimensional communicators. Now, this is important to understand because, interestingly, many children, or at least some children here on the earth, really struggle with communication amongst their neurodiversity. It can be one of the struggles that they have. But when we look on the spiritual level, the energetic level, the soul level, that multidimensional level, these souls are some of the best communicators and generally have the strongest communication abilities of any of the souls that I connect with. They tend to be loud, they tend to be clear. Sometimes they can speak in words and sentences, like you're having a conversation with them, but sometimes they don't either. Because for many of these children, English or any other language in the world for that matter is too limiting for them. It stifles them, it limits them, and they can't adequately express themselves in our usual language. So I find when I communicate with them, they often send me concepts. It's really difficult to describe, but what it feels like to me is those old school zip files where you would get sent a little yellow folder with a zip file, and then you would need to unzip that file in order to see what was in it, whether it was documents or forms or PDF documents or images, whatever it may be. And that's how it feels to me. It feels like they send me this zip file and then I need to unpack that and process the information that's there piece by piece. Because my human brain, my human processing is a lot slower than these children. Many of them are also extremely telepathic, which makes them excellent communicators between realms. And they're super aware of their surroundings and super sensitive to what's going on. And that's where we see a lot around the sensory sensitivity that can be very common. And this is because they are feeling so much, they're aware of so much that's going on around them, but they don't understand it. They don't know how to process it. They don't know what to do with the information that's coming at them from all different angles. So that's their communication. The third thing that I want to mention is the wisdom. So these children are bringing wisdom with them, much of which the earth hasn't seen before. So many of these children actually haven't been to Earth before. Many of them are what I would call an old soul, but they're not necessarily old earth souls. Many of them have spent time in other places and spaces in the cosmos. They've received their wisdom and their lessons and their experiences in other places besides Earth. And they are coming to the Earth at this time to share that wisdom with us, with the land, with the animals, with nature. But again, we're not quite ready for it. But part of their journey or their purpose, especially in that bigger picture collective sense, is to help us be ready, to help us to get to that point. I'm certainly not saying that all neurodiverse children have not been to Earth before, are first timers here, because there are many who have been to Earth, often many times before, but often they haven't been here for a while. Instead, they've been out exploring other worlds, other places, other systems on the soul level. And so they're having these other experiences as a soul that are different to the human experience on the Earth. And while I don't fully understand these different worlds, I've definitely had glimpses of them. And I'm still learning what they are learning there. Or should I say, these children are still teaching me about that. But the common denominator amongst all of them is that they're coming to the Earth or coming back to the Earth to bring what they have learned back with them, to help the Earth and the energy of the planet in some way. And now moving into the fourth theme I want to share, which is around their journey, and what we've been talking about with their wisdom leads into that. So these children are coming to have a different experience of the Earth, especially those who have been here before and they're returning, because these are the souls who know how to human. They've been there, done that, they know the drill. They've gone away somewhere else and then they come back to Earth. The way it feels to me, it's then like putting a university graduate back into kindergarten. It's like they're way overqualified for the job. It feels weird for them. It's a little bit below them. It's frustrating. They're impatient. Things just don't make sense. And also, again, like from the perspective of the kindergarten kids, it's like this university graduate feels like an alien. Like it can be hard to connect. It can be hard to find common ground and really hard to understand each other, because it literally feels like they're from different worlds. But this is why they come. Again, they have this collective purpose, this bigger mission to create change on the planet, especially in the area of healthcare, for example. These kids are pushing up against those old boxes, those old labels around how kids should develop and how kids should communicate. Also around education and how kids should be educated. And these children are really forcing change in the area of education by really forcing us to step up and come up with new ways, different ways, more appropriate ways, more inclusive ways of teaching these kids and also supporting their individuality, meeting them where they're at, which the traditional education system doesn't do that so well. They're also here to create change around parenting. So this generation of children are really helping to release old ways of parenting, old ways of disciplining children, old ways of around boundaries or communicating with them. And instead of forcing parents in many ways to step up and support these children, guide these children, and come up with new ways to raise these children from babies to adults. And that's a huge change in and of it. While it can be easy to assume that these children chose a really tough journey here on the Earth, and it can be hard to understand in our human brains, like why a soul would choose to have a tough journey. But it's important to realize that this is just a perspective. It's just what it looks like from the outside looking in. And it can look like a really tough journey for these kids, as for you as their parents or for teachers of these kids. But in my experience, these souls are brave, they are strong, they are courageous, and their souls know exactly what they signed up for. This isn't a surprise, it isn't an accident. It feels, to me, when I communicate with them, it feels very purposeful. And a common theme I find with these kids is that they're saying that you are the ones that need support, not me. They're saying that because we are the ones that are dealing with the change, that we are the ones that need the support with that, much more than what they do. If you're interested in more about this topic, then I did recently record an episode with Anj from True Spirituality with Anj, where we talked about neurodiversity and autism and communicated with a soul who came through around that. So if you want to listen to that episode, I'll pop the link in the show notes below so you can check that out if you feel called. Another part of their journey to the earth is things are really shifting around the teaching versus learning ratio. So historically, children have always been here to learn, right? And that you as their parents and you as their teachers and you as their extended family or just those around them in their environment, there to teach them, to guide them, to help them learn. And while this is still true, your role is still to help them adjust to being a human. But what I'm learning is that these kids are coming to teach more than what they're here to learn. So they're coming to teach you as their parents about change, about dealing with change, about adapting to change, about being flexible. They're also teaching you about your shadow and your sore spots that could still be there, especially around guilt, fear, judgment, impatience, rejection, not feeling good enough. They're also teaching you to shift your perspectives and to change your beliefs around so many things, not just around children, but the world. These children have an incredible way of seeing the world differently, through different eyes, through fresh eyes, in ways that we haven't been able to see. They're also pushing you to think outside of the box, to be proactive and to trust your intuition and to really lean into what feels right, to trust that part of you that says, no, this isn't working, and to trust that part of you that says, I'm going to find another way, or I'm going to get a second opinion, or I'm going to try other options. They're also teaching you that it's okay to receive support. And this isn't just about support for your child and on whatever level that may be. It's also receiving support for yourself as the parents of these children who are here to create such massive change. And as I mentioned in that episode I did with Anj, that was one of the main themes, was around you as the parent actually need more support than what these children need. We just think they need more support because they're different or because things are not working. But it's definitely a two-way street. So now I'm going to try something a little different that you may not have heard from me before. If you haven't heard channeling or heard me work in this way, it may seem a little bit weird, and that's okay. But what I'm feeling really strongly as I record this is to give a soul an opportunity to come through who is either here on the earth already, who has chosen a neurodivergent life on the soul level to experience in human form, or is planning to have a neurodivergent life, but they have not incarnated yet. This is what often happens during a session or a reading when a soul's energy wants to communicate directly through me. It just means allowing the soul to share from their perspective without going through my mind, without going through my own analysis or processing first. So it's something that I'm still learning to allow, because it's a very strange feeling because I actually don't know what's going to be said until it's said. So it's like I'm listening with the rest of you. So this may sound a little weird to some of you, but I do feel the presence of a masculine soul coming to the earth. He hasn't come to the earth yet. I don't feel that he has been conceived yet, but he is planning a life here on the earth as a neurodivergent child. So let's see what he has to say. I haven't been here before. I don't know the life on the earth as you know it. I don't understand how things operate. I don't know the rules. I don't know what's expected of me. I don't know what I need to do. I also don't need to know what to do because I know I will learn as I go, and I will also be there to understand the journey of my own processing around this. I don't need to have it all figured out. I don't need to fit in. I don't need to tick any boxes at all. But I am coming here for change. It's time that the earth was able to make some big changes in the way it treats children, in the way it views children, in the way it hears children, because the world has not been doing a very good job of that. There is so much more to us than you can ever know. Even if we were here on the earth for thousands of years, you would still not understand our depth. You would still not understand our wisdom. You would still not understand our journey and why we would choose to bring our wisdom to the earth in this way. But we just ask you to be patient with us, to see beyond our human body, to reach deep into our hearts, to reach deep into our minds, to see us as the vast soul energy that we are. This is what we're coming to share with you. It's just that to do that, we need to be in a body. And for so many of us, being in a body is just weird. It doesn't make sense. It keeps us small. It moves strangely. We can't control it in the way that we like. It does things that we don't understand. It feels unfamiliar. It feels sticky. It feels small. So for us, being in a body is really uncomfortable. We are much more happy and much more settled when we are able to have space to disperse, to expand, to disperse that energy that becomes so cooped up in our physical bodies. We need to move. Don't make us sit still. We don't want to be still. We need to move. We need to be active. For that is the only way we know of to be able to move this energy, so much energy that we don't even know what to do with, through our body. Our bodies can only hold so much. Don't make us sit still. Don't make us stuff that energy down and suppress that energy. For that's what generations have been doing for eons before us. And we are not coming to conform to that. We are not coming here to enable and to support that. We're here to break that. We won't be quietened. We won't be shut down. We won't be made to fit in or fit into boxes that just don't fit us. We are not afraid to be different. We are here to embrace our individuality. We are here to explore, we are here to experience what it is to be a human. Don't take that away from us. Don't limit us. Just allow us to be. Allow us to learn. Listen to us. Allow us to teach you. Reflect on what comes up for you when you're around us, when you're parenting us, when you're guiding us. Allow us to speak to you beyond the human level. Change is never easy for a human. It's the most challenging part of our journey as humans. We want everything to stay the same because it's familiar. But the familiar only works for so long. There will always come a time when the familiar is no longer comfortable, it's no longer supportive, it's no longer helpful, it's no longer in our best interest. And that's why we're here to create change. Because of all these things. The old systems don't work for us anymore. They never really did. But we were able to put up with that. We were able to adjust in many ways. We were forced to adjust. But not anymore. We want change. We want things to change. We want you to change. We want people to change. We want the earth to change. And that's what our whole journey is about. Shaping change into a new reality, into a new experience, not just for you and for us, but for all of the generations yet to come. Thank you for tuning in to Babies from Beyond. If you've enjoyed this episode, I'd love for you to leave me a review just wherever you listen to your podcasts. Also, head over to Instagram and give me a follow at Born Energy, and check out the show notes for more ways that you can connect with your baby's soul, including one-on-one readings and online programs to support you. Until next time, trust your journey and your baby. Take care.